Would you say that your home is messy, minimal, or does it fall somewhere in the middle of that spectrum? Let's talk about that today. Hi everyone, today I wanted to sit down and have just a very casual, laid-back conversation with you all about something I've been noticing popping up more and more recently on social media, specifically TikTok, Instagram, to a lesser degree also on YouTube, though I haven't seen it here quite as often, and that is the idea of rage bait. Now, if you're not familiar with that subject, that topic, I'll tell you what that is as well. Basically, it is content or short videos, pictures that are put together, put out to really elicit a lot of emotions, specifically of rage. And the idea is that if you elicit these emotions, you're going to get people to add more comments, to either give a thumbs up or thumbs down, or even share the content with someone else. So you get more engagement, therefore you're more likely to get a lot of views, and in turn you can make more money. Now this has been going on for a while. This rage baiting has been going on for a while. You've probably seen it before in things like shopping hauls where people will buy a whole lot of something, just pretty wasteful, or there's some different rage bait where people will like dress up their dogs, have like little themed outfits and things for their dogs. It gets a little out of control, but essentially these people are putting on an act and going way over the top just to elicit this response. So I'm not really on social media that much. I see these different trends here and there, and I didn't pay a lot of attention to them because I'm not really influenced by that at all. However, something has come up recently that has had me really think about it a little bit more, and the reason is because it is focused on the home. And as you know, if you've followed my channel for any amount of time, I'm very passionate about the home and how the home makes you feel, and your mental health and how it relates to your home environment. And so this new trend is specifically targeting the home, and the hashtag, or I think it's a hashtag that's being used, is called Normalize Normal houses. And so these videos are portraying homes that are completely destroyed. They are just so messy, beyond. We're talking countertops full of dirty dishes, floors that are covered with clutter. You can't even walk on the floors, dog and cat excrements laying around, just garbage everywhere. Very unsafe and hazardous environments. That's what they're showing, and they're using the hashtag Normalize Normal houses. Now, probably all of you are familiar with the TV show Hoarders, and that gave us a little glimpse into the life of people who struggle with the mental illness of hoarding and not knowing how to keep up with their home environment, and it goes into disrepair. And I think everyone would agree that that is a mental illness, that is a real thing, and I very much sympathize with the people who struggle with this, and they really do need outside help to help them get through that. And so right now though, with this trend, these content creators, they know what they're doing. They are showing this to elicit a response. Personally, I don't think they actually live that way either. That's the weirdest thing about it. I don't think they actually live with this filthy environment long term, because what you'll see is a completely messed up home, and then they'll take some steps to get it cleaned up, organized, because that also can give you some good engagement. I think those types of videos, seeing videos where people have a messy space and they organize it and it's looking good, they're kind of relaxing to watch in a weird way. And so they'll do videos like that, but then guess what happens? They fall right back into this disaster of a house, and then they do the same thing again. They clean it up, back to disaster, clean it up. So I don't think that these people are actually struggling with hoarding. Maybe some of them are, but for the most part, I would say it's people who are putting on a show, a social media show, to make it seem like they're living that way just so that they can get the extra engagement. Now, I think this is extremely dangerous, and I'll tell you why. So as I mentioned in the intro to this video, there is a spectrum. There's messy, there's minimal, and obviously I fall on the minimal side of the spectrum, but there's all of these people in the middle. And I would say that the majority of people do fall somewhere in the middle. They either lean a little bit more towards being messy, just having a hard time keeping organized, or they like things to be ordered, they like things to be simple and cleaned up, and that's just the way their brain works. My brain, since I was a little kid, has always been on this side of the spectrum. That's how I function best. That's what makes sense to me. But I recognize that there is this spectrum and not everybody would like living that way. But I will say that there was a time in my life when we had 5 little kids where I did slip towards more of this middle, maybe even a little towards the messy side of things. With my home environment because I was just overwhelmed. And I will honestly tell you that this did have an effect on my mental health, especially knowing the way that I wanted to be living, the way that my brain processed the best, and feeling like I could never get there. And it was a season of desperation in my life, I'll be completely honest, and I've shared videos about that here when I finally recognized all of this stuff is meaningless, like it's just stuff. And I started to look for inspiration, and I came to YouTube and I found other minimalists, other people who were living simply, sharing their experiences and telling about how they are living and how it's given them such peace. And I wanted that peace. I wanted that back again. And so making that connection and realizing, hey, I can eliminate some clutter a little bit at a time. I can do some organizing. I can rearrange some things and get things in order. And slowly worked my way back toward where I felt most comfortable, which is towards the minimalist side of things. Now, the danger is that these people in the middle, they are impressionable. They're feeling overwhelmed with their lives. They're not sure where to go from here. And they can get sucked into the trap of thinking, you know, this creator, this influencer over here said that this is normal. So, hey, I guess it's fine the way I'm living. I guess that I can just let it slide a little bit more because that's normal, that they're telling me that's okay. And that's really dangerous. So the other day I was thinking a little bit more thoroughly about the 3 main aspects a person needs for survival, just basic human needs. We're talking food and water, clothing, and then shelter, those 3 things. And I've done a video in the past talking about how if you have a basic level of any of those 3 things, you will have a level of happiness, because some people don't have enough food. They're unhappy. Some people don't have a place to live. They're unhappy. If you have a basic level of these 3 things, you will have a level of happiness. I'll try to link that video if I can find it and link that in the description box. But also talking about how you can overdo a category, any of those 3 categories. So for example, food. You know, if we eat healthy food, regular amounts of healthy food, we feel good. That is, we're meeting our need of survival. We're not going overboard. But if we start eating a lot of junk food, greasy things, things that are really high in sugar content, it will take a toll on our health, and we start to feel it. We feel the discomfort in ourselves. It's visceral. We feel it. And same goes for water. Obviously, if you don't drink enough water, you start feeling sluggish, dehydrated, you might be dizzy, extra tired. You need to have the right amount of water. Clothing, same thing. If it's too tight because you've been gaining too much weight from eating all that junk food, it's gonna feel uncomfortable and you're going to want to get rid of that discomfort. But the thing that's interesting is that of those 3 main basic things that we need for survival, shelter is the one that we seem to not really pay as much attention to. We don't notice it as easily, and I don't know if it's because it's not physically connected to our body, but our physical environment, specifically our home environment, does have a huge impact on our mental health. If you have a lot of clutter, for example, it can raise your cortisol levels from stress, and it can cause you to gain weight. It can actually physically make your body have some changes. It can cause hypertension, eventually strokes or heart attacks if you really are going forward with that mess and that clutter. And so basically, I want people to recognize that that is a real thing, that if you are feeling uncomfortable and you don't know that it's because of your house, it's easy to recognize when you're feeling uncomfortable, bad about your health because of poor eating, not enough water. It's easy to recognize if your clothes don't fit well. It's not as easy to recognize when your home environment isn't quite right for yourself. And so I think that this whole trend of saying that this not even messy, it's downright filthy, dangerous, hazardous, is normal, is so dangerous because of those people that are in the middle and they're feeling that they want to make a change. If you feel like you have eaten too much junk food and you are feeling really bad, you wouldn't ask a friend, well, what should I do about it? How can I get rid of this discomfort, this feeling of unhealthiness? Your friend's not going to tell you, just eat more cheeseburgers, just eat more cupcakes. You'll feel great. No, they're going to tell you, cut some of that stuff out. Start eating healthier. Start doing more exercise so that you can start feeling better. And I think the same goes for your home environment. If you're not feeling quite settled, something's not quite right, you can't quite pinpoint it, the advice shouldn't be to just let it all go, to just give up because it's fine, it's normal, it's a season of life. You're busy, so your house is going to be a complete mess. That's fine. No, you're going to try to make little steps to get out of that discomfort. And I don't know a single person, and you probably don't know a single person, who hasn't felt the discomfort of being overweight and started to eat healthier, started to exercise more, get better sleep, that doesn't start to feel better. When you make those changes, you start to feel better. You can feel that. And so I want to encourage you that if you're somewhere in the middle, you're feeling unsettled, to just try to make some little steps, the little changes. Get rid of some clutter. Stop impulse buying so that you're not bringing more things in. Try out a laundry routine so that you can stay on top of your laundry and that's not a stressor in your life. It's worth a try. Just give it a shot. I hope that people who see my videos, and maybe you're one of the people that is in the middle and you were searching out just as I was years ago and I found those simple living minimalist channels. Maybe you found Arrow Hill Cottage and you realized, hey, there's a different way to live. I can make some changes and I can aspire to live this way. I don't want to say that everyone is going to get to the extreme of minimalism. I don't think it's for everybody. I like living this way and it helps my brain to rest. But for some people, it's too far. It's too few things to be surrounded with. Some people like having extra things that it makes them feel comfortable. No judgment at all there. But if you're feeling unwell by your house and you can kind of think, maybe I should make some changes, I really want to encourage you to try to move towards this side of the spectrum, even if you don't get all the way to minimalism. Don't just let it go and follow these trends, these weird rage bait videos that say that that's normal, because it's not. They're putting on a show. Interestingly, there is a segment of people I know, because they leave comments on my videos, that think that what I am showing here is actually rage bait, because they think nobody can live that way and you're setting up unattainable expectations for people who think that they have to live that way. And so I also want to be clear with that. I don't think that everyone has to live that way. I also want to be clear that this is not fake. This is truly how we live. We like things to be very minimal and very simple, and you could stop by any day of the week and our home looks essentially exactly the same. We live here though, so we do have messes, we have dirty laundry, we have clutter on occasion and things that need to get cleaned up, but we deal with it on a regular basis and get things looking back to the way that we prefer them to be. So I'm really curious if you have seen this type of content, what your personal thoughts are on it. Do you recognize it as being faked, or do you think maybe it's genuine and they are dealing with a hoarding situation, which is pretty sad? Let's keep that conversation going down below in the comment section. As always, thank you so much for watching today, and I hope that you'll stop back again really soon.